Who's That Knocking at My Door is the first feature-length film by Martin Scorsese that wasn't a documentary. This was his first dramatic film with actors and scripted and whatnot. He wrote and directed this, and it stars Harvey Keitel in his first role. Keitel plays a man named JR who hooks up with this girl at the beginning of the film, and they develop this relationship. At some point, a piece of information is revealed, and then the film kind of, it goes places. Whether they're places you would want it to go or not, I leave up to you, but I'm going to just talk about the film. There may be spoilers, well, there will be spoilers in this review, but this film's from 1967, so if you've not gotten around to seeing it, then I don't know if you ever will, but if you haven't, there's going to be spoilers. I think there are many parts throughout this film when Scorsese, even from such an early point in his career, demonstrates a skill with actors and a skill with images, in the sense that he can elicit a response from you as an audience member. There's one scene in this when JR is playing around with his mates. They're kind of fooling around with guns in this living room, and they're being very casual about the way they're pointing these guns around. And it makes me clench up, because there's this one guy who's kind of putting a gun in someone's face and they're just playing. But at any moment, you're kind of expecting that gun to go off. And I don't know if it's just because, I'm looking at this in retrospect, knowing Scorsese's career, knowing all the gangster flicks he's made, and how any moment some nasty violence can really break out. So this whole time that this guy's like pointing this gun at this other guy's head, you're kind of expecting it to go off. Thankfully it doesn't, but it does the job. Scorsese makes me tense during that scene, which is what I feel like he's trying to do. The first scene between JR and the girl as well, this girl that he meets, is very well done. It feels very casual. The dialogue feels quite natural. You got JR talking about this movie, this Western, The Searchers, starring John Wayne. And it just, the dialogue flows quite naturally. So it shows a talent there from Scorsese to be able to write natural dialogue and to be able to make me care from a very early stage about these characters that he's created. Later on, we learn that this girl was raped by one of her previous boyfriends. And that's when JR basically, he does a complete shift in character. He goes from being likeable to being completely unlikable. This is a guy who, at one point in the film, wouldn't have sex with her because he wanted to make sure they did it at the right time, that they just didn't rush into it, which kind of makes you respect him as a character. So when he suddenly does this turn where he almost blames this rape on her, or just says she's making it up, flat out making it up, that it didn't happen, all of a sudden we're confronted with this character that isn't the one that we knew or thought we knew. And I completely dislike him from that moment on. And there's no real redemption for him from that point, because he never really apologises, not in any real sense. And those scenes, they do elicit certain responses from me, which I believe are the responses that Scorsese is trying to get. But the thing is, that's just it. It's just scenes that play kind of okay as little self-contained snapshots of this guy's life. But when you put them all together into this bigger film, it gets really boring. And some of the scenes drag on and on and on. There's this one moment, this sex scene. It's basically when JR is having a conversation with the girl, and he starts talking about the difference between girls and dames. And then we freeze frame and we see this whole sex scene between JR and the kind of girl that he would class as a dame. Now the whole thing tells us that, a girl is someone you take home to see your mum, and a dame is someone you would have a one-night stand with. And this sex scene goes on for a good 3 or 4 minutes, and you kind of feel like actually 10 seconds of that would have been enough to get the point. But instead, Scorsese goes all European cinema on it. And I feel that's what this film is kind of an attempt to do. It's kind of an attempt to bring a European sensibility to an American film. And it's boring. It's the kind of pretentious European cinema that I actually don't like watching. And I don't want to see it in an American film. So yeah, there's many moments like that that just go on and on and on. And even the scene that I just talked about before, this gun scene, when these guns are being kind of waved about, that goes on for just a little bit too long. It's like, I get the point now. Now you can get there faster. If you're not going to shoot someone at this point, move on, please. So yeah, there's loads of sequences like that. And then when we're 2/3 of the way in, maybe a little over 2/3, and JR does his turn where he basically just essentially berates this woman after she tells him the most personal thing of her life, he becomes instantly unlikable. And then we have no one really to root for. And even the girl, you're itching for her to defend herself a bit more, but she almost just lets him dish it out to her. And I honestly don't feel like someone in her position, I don't feel like this character would do that. Certainly I wouldn't want to see a character like that being written today. In all, like I say, it is a film that does show certain skills from Scorsese from very early on in his career. But the overall film itself is a bit of a mess. There's a whole thing in there about Catholic guilt, apparently, but I don't think that's handled particularly well at all. We have these final moments with JR in the church, and we see all this religious iconography. I've read about that, and people say, it's all this Catholic guilt, but I feel like you probably need to be Catholic to get that, because to me it just felt like the point wasn't really getting across. It's like, great, it's this guy sat in a church, big deal. I didn't really feel the whole Catholic guilt angle from that. I just felt like this guy was a hypocrite. I felt like after some of the stuff he's pulled, after some of the things he's said, to have him sat in a church as if he's a proper God-fearing man, it felt a bit flat to me. It felt false, and I certainly didn't pick up on the whole Catholic guilt angle. Not in the way that I think maybe I should have done. That's just me. I give this film a 2 out of 5. I didn't like it. I won't watch it again. Like I say, some nice moments, overall, not for me. So if you've seen Who's That Knocking at My Door, please comment below and let me know what you thought about it. Tell me how you think it stacks up with other early works by Scorsese. Until next time, thanks for watching.